Welcome to the Moto Curious podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Lobkovich, and I'm here to make motorsports more accessible, one Q&A at a time. I started riding motorcycles in 2002. The first time I got on my GS 500, my now ex-husband, then husband, taught me how to put it in gear and clutch out and roll the bike, which I did. And so I started to roll the bike around a parking lot and then realized he had not told me how to stop. So the very first time I was on my bike, I ran into a parking barrier to stop, fell over. I still have a scar. At that time, I decided I needed training, mentors, coaches. If I was going to stick with the sport, I would not be learning from my then husband, now ex-husband. So I did my basic rider course, and then I started riding. I rode about 200 miles a week commuting from Paulsbo, Washington to Seattle, Washington across the ferry, and scared the ever-loving you-know-what out of myself on an almost weekly basis over the course of 3 years of commuting. So after that, I took a break. I just burned out my adrenaline system. I had friends who did advanced rider training, but I didn't think I was good enough for it. I also had friends who did track riding, but what they described didn't sound like me at all, and I didn't think I had any business being on a racetrack, so I never even got far enough to look into it. But years later, after a long break, I came back to riding when I found myself surrounded by a group of advanced rider training advocates. They were ex-racers, track day guys, serious riders, and they really brought me into the sport. They helped me see the benefit of advanced training. I got used to being coached and taking advice and incorporating it into my riding, and they started to get me out to track days, and I got hooked on track days. So I got back into bikes, and it has literally changed my life. In the years since, I've traveled internationally to spectate MotoGP. I went by myself to the Malaysian GP races in 2016. It was absolutely awesome. I met another, well, I guess then he was a car guy, but got him back into bikes. He'd been in bikes before. Met another rider. We're married now and honeymooned at the Isle of Man TT. And I've been through all sorts of bikes and rider training since, on-road and off-road, and I'm really grateful that I finally started to get more training. It's really changed the way I ride and changed my comfort with riding. So today I'm an avid rider, I'm staff with the Track Day org, and I'm a level 1 instructor in training. I love helping new riders and track day riders feel welcome and have a great first time out and get a real good start in the sport. Since track riding didn't come naturally to me, it's taken a lot of years and a lot of support from coaches, friends, mentors to get where I am today, which, by the way, is still not fast, but my lines are getting better and I'm getting more relaxed and more comfortable, and I'm having way more fun out there now than I used to, which is translated into having way more fun and comfort and safety in my street riding. So all the time I hear friends say, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try riding a bike, but, or I've always wanted to do a track day, but, or spectating at the Isle of Man TT or traveling overseas for MotoGP, that's on my bucket list. But I'm here doing this podcast to help turn those buts into ands, to help get the butts out of it and get you into the moto life that you want to be living. So I'm here to help make motorsports more accessible, one question and answer at a time, because I don't know all the answers. There are people in this sport who seem to know everything, and that's not me, but I'm really good at asking questions. Questions like, what minimal mechanical knowledge should I have about my bike? Or how does vision on the bike actually work? Why do we go where our eyes go? Or what if you've had a scare riding? How can you find your confidence again? One of my personal favorites, who do they actually make motorcycle gear sized to fit? Because it sure as heck isn't me. Or will women be able to ride in the Dakar rally with the move to Saudi Arabia? I could do this literally all day. So come along for the ride with me. Find the Moto Curious in iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app and subscribe. And please share with the Moto Curious in your life, because I believe the more the merrier out there. Send me your motorcycle questions at sarah@themotocurious.com, and welcome. I'm really glad you're here. Now let's go on this adventure together.